Okay, good day, Leslie Hunter. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much, Phil. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good. How is your isolation going at the moment?
It's going all right. It's not too bad actually. I mean, I've been a full-time dad for a little while now, so being with the girls, my two daughters, on a regular basis is fairly normal for me. So I'm okay with it. Although they get a bit restless, but no, it's good. I'm all right. I'm not suffering.
Okay. Have you been taking up any new skills or doing anything new? Any form of new exercises, new skills, improving
I think
yourself as a human?
I think I'm probably more consistent with my exercise than I was before. I think I'm going out and running regularly and stuff like that. So that I guess would be one thing. But as far as any new skills are concerned, I mean, at the moment I'm doing an application for to become a teacher. So I've got a couple of interviews coming up for teacher training next week. So I'm doing going through studies and research and things like that at the moment. So that's kind of taking up the rest of my time.
Okay. And
So
what are you going to teach? What are you hoping to
biology.
teach?
Well, hopefully, yeah, biology.
Biology. Okay.
Let's not
And
talk about biology though.
no.
Might sound stupid.
Because I guess you'll need to do a PGCE, is that right? Or have you done that already?
PGCE. Yeah, yeah,
PCG, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and what level would you like to teach at? Like level of students?
So it would be key stage 3 and 4, so secondary school age.
Okay.
So from year sevens in the UK, so that's for 11, 12-year-olds to GCSE students, which are 15, 16-year-olds.
Mm.
So
Awesome. And
yeah,
so how is the application going? Seeing as that schools are closed, is that
well, yeah. I
you
mean,
do
that
something
the thing is
first?
you have to do interviews over Skype, um, which is probably, I guess, maybe less daunting because you can do an interview in your own home rather than going off and sitting in front of a panel of people and doing everything in front of a panel. So I guess that's a plus, but yeah, I mean it's been going well. I mean I'm enjoying the process of um, the whole process of it and learning about teaching has been really interesting. So yeah, it's been good. It's been
Okay.
really good. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's good. That's something to wrap your head around in these daunting times. Getting something new out of this. This is what I've been speaking to a couple of people about this time off. I was talking about it on the morning show that I did, the morning coffee show that I do, that I'm sure you're going to watch when we finish today. Get those views up. So the first 3 weeks, I would say, of isolation, I was very lazy because I was like, oh, this is kind of like, a holiday almost. Although you can't really do much, I was very lazy, and I ended up most nights sort of ringing up Grant and drinking like 6 beers, and then getting up at sort of like 10 or 11 in the morning, and it just got into this routine of like my day was getting shorter and shorter because I was doing nothing. I
Yeah.
was sort of getting up. I had no reason to get up apart from sort of lunchtime. Sort of lunchtime to 6 is family time. Is that kind of time with Sophie, my daughter. But the rest of the time was kind of like really, I was struggling to motivate myself to get up in the mornings. And at night it was like, well, there's nothing to do. I've watched most things on Netflix, so I'm just going to ring
Yeah.
up my friends and just drink beer over the phone. So that happened quite a lot. But after 3 weeks, I got really bored of it. I was like, I feel really awful. I feel sluggish. Um, I was just getting up thinking like I wasn't even getting hungover
Can't play
anymore. I
you
was just
can't play
like,
Truck Simulator every day.
can't play Truck Simulator every day. I mean, I did try, and I have started streaming on Twitch as well. So, but that's not Truck Simulator. I've been streaming Football Manager.
How's that go?
It's going all right. Yeah, it's going all right. We'll talk about that in a bit. It's going all right. It's going good. But so I got to the sort of point where I was like, I need to do something about this. And the only thing I could think of, because I was thinking, well, I still don't have to get up in the morning, early or whatever. So when I get up, I'll just do something. But that just didn't happen because, I was getting up and then I was putting the TV on. So I ended up, like what I do now is I set my alarm as if I'm going to work at 6. So my alarm goes off at 6 every morning, which then means I'm going to bed like latest 11:30 really, because I don't want to get up too late. Yeah. And then I wrote a list. I wrote this list on my phone, which is basically it's like a real simple thing, but I just wrote this list down. I'll show you this list. So I called the list "Get Up, You Lazy Bastard." That's the name of the list. So it's got 6 o'clock alarm, 6:30 get up. So I've given myself half an hour, just to hit the snooze button. Coffee, 7 o'clock, yoga, exercise, yoga/exercise. Yeah. So that's an hour. 8 o'clock, shower, breakfast, coffee again. 9 o'clock, start recording the first video of the day, right? So that's on the new program. 10 o'clock, piano for an hour. 11 o'clock, read a book for an hour. 12 o'clock till 6, or 12 o'clock till 7, family time. And then after 7, either do a video for the channel or stream on Twitch, and then go to bed at like 10 or 11.
That's pretty good.
And I've actually stuck to the list. Like I get up and I think, God, I don't want to do this list. And then once I've done like alarm, get up, coffee, yoga, once I've done that, everything else just comes really easy.
Yeah, I think when you are like being disciplined to the first hour or 2 of the day, I mean, it does definitely, it sets you up well, definitely. I mean, for me, all I hear in the morning is just lots of noise for like, there'll be crashing. I'm normally woken, I don't need an alarm. Normally woken up by some sort of accident, and then it's followed by crying and then shouting, and then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I need to get up, because my 2 daughters, Florence and Amelia, are really good at bedtime. They go down really well, but that means that they get up sometimes before 5 o'clock in the morning, and they are ready to go. They're like, really, really fired up for the rest of the day. So, that's always a fun thing to contend with in the morning. And so that gets you up. But I think I need to be a bit more organised. I'm trying to be a bit more organised. But it sounds like you've got it all sussed, Phil, really.
Definitely haven't got it all sussed, but it's working, because the first 3 weeks of lockdown, I'd go to bed at night, I'd have a couple of beers, right, and talk to like somebody. I'll be like, oh yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do this. And then like, next thing you know, it's sort of like 11 o'clock. And I'm just waking up like, I'm not going to do that today, am I? I'll do it tomorrow. And it kind of like gets to the point where it's like, it's not that. And I reckon a lot of people are like that. A lot of people probably are in the same thing. Like, but what I've done, that list has been so helpful. And it's just something you can do yourself. Like, it just took me, I don't know, 15 minutes to think about what I wanted to do the next day. Like, don't write the list in the morning. Write it, at night, like what you're going to do the next day. And then it just worked. I don't know, it worked for me, and it's working so far. I'm still allowing myself gin and tonic in the evening, but only like 2 maximum, and not every day either.
Awesome. What have you got? What have you got on the go now?
Yeah, gin and tonic. That's gin and tonic. It's in a wine glass, because I haven't got any. I don't know what glass you use for gin and tonic. Just like a thingy glass, isn't it? But it's not big enough. Because the thing is, those small glasses of gin and tonic, it's just like boom, gone. But if I put it in a lot of tonic in there, and ice and like lime, at least it's like a long drink almost. But they have banned alcohol here, so I've been getting it on the sly.
Really?
Alcohol's been banned. banned for the last 2.5 weeks. Yeah, so that's also helped,
Wow.
I think.
So is this actually? Are you actually broadcasting illegal activity then?
No, because you just you're allowed to drink it, but you just aren't allowed to buy it. So I was actually given a big bottle of gin, yeah, which was quite nice.
So,
Yeah,
pretty good.
So yeah. Have you seen anything else on TV? What have you watched? Anything that's good that's been out recently?
Well, I feel like
Any
everyone would
recommendations?
always talk about Tiger King, wouldn't they? I mean,
Yeah.
it's. I think pretty much, to be honest with you, I'm not. I haven't really watched too much. I've watched Tiger King, and that was amazing. It's like the most ridiculous thing. I'm a big fan of. If you watched it,
I have seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
I'm a big fan of Jeff.
Yeah. Okay.
And his Affliction T-shirts and
Yeah.
his bandana with a baseball cap.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a great look.
Yeah.
And so he's amazing. Obviously got Carol Baskin. She's interesting.
She's a nightmare. Well, she's
she's
a murderer, basically, isn't she?
Something is definitely going on behind those eyes.
Yeah.
And it isn't. I don't think it's healthy things. But yeah, no. So I've watched that. I don't know. I think I find myself on YouTube quite a lot looking at things. So there's quite a few podcasts I listen to that I quite enjoy. That are good fun. Like obviously most people know about Joe Rogan. So I listen to Joe Rogan quite a bit, but also there's a comedian that's on his show quite a bit called Tom Segura.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Wife Christina P. They have a podcast called Your Mum's House,
yeah,
which is really good fun, and it's really good on YouTube. Yeah. So they basically look at lots of videos and take the piss out of a lot of people.
Have you seen the one that him and Bert Kreischer do together? Two bears, one cave?
Two bears, one cave. Yeah, that's good.
That's a good one.
That's good. The other day was quite funny when Bert was talking about how he basically lost his shit, like with Adam Sandler. He got so excited about presenting.
Fanboyed out.
Yeah, fanboyed out completely. So, yeah, I watched a bit of that, and I haven't really been hitting Netflix hard or like TV series. I find out I don't really have the time, to be honest. So, I mean, you've talked to me about Game of Thrones a number of times, and you said you've got to watch it.
Yeah,
but the truth is, I haven't got the time. If they would have stopped after 3 series, I probably could have invested that time.
Well, the first you don't really need, although you're not going to get to the ending if you don't watch them all. Like the first 4 series are the best ones, I would say.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If I got to 4 series, I'd watch the other. Was it 4? Is it 8 series altogether?
Yeah. And they do get shorter as well. So like the last series, there's only 6. I don't know actually, maybe 6 episodes. I think there's not a lot anyway. Like season 1, there's loads, right? And season 1, 2, 3, 4, I think there's quite a lot. Am I just completely wrong there? Game of Thrones.
The whole book. What are you going to go? Yeah, I think it's 8, isn't it?
There's 8 series, but I don't know how many episodes. Because basically, in the beginning, like series 1, 2, 3, or 4, like the episodes are sort of TV show length, like 40 minutes. As on the TV, that's going to be an hour, right? Because of adverts and stuff like that. But the last season, they're all like feature length almost. So there's 8 series, 6 episodes. Yeah. I think the last 2 episodes are like an hour and a half at least. I think something like that. Hour and 40 minutes long. I
mean, when I was younger, when we used to live in London, me and you were both living in London about the same time, and I worked at Blockbuster Video, so I was a student and I had a part-time job at Blockbuster Video, which, if you're, I don't know, young, you probably wouldn't know what Blockbuster Video was, but it's like before Netflix, you used to go to a shop and then you'd look and there'd be walls full of DVD boxes, and then or videos before then, and then you'd pick one up and you'd go to the counter and you'd hire it out and then have to bring it back. And
it's crazy how quickly that's changed as well. Like they must just, Blockbuster must have just have like seen online streaming and just gone, right, that's it, basically. That's game over for us.
They didn't try and diversify. I think others tried, but Netflix, because Netflix was like a mail order thing before it was.
Yeah.
You ordered it online, and then like I think we had in the UK Love Film, which was a similar thing.
I used to be a member of Blockbuster. They used to do that.
Yeah.
They used to do like send you DVDs in like a little packet every month, and then you just watch it on the DVD and then send it back in the packet. Like turn the slip over, it's got the return address on it, and just send it back in the post, because it used to come in like a thin what do they call it, like a plastic envelope kind of thing, and you couldn't see what the DVD was. So I used to just get like, because Blockbuster used to have some racy stuff as well. So I was like, well, nobody knows that I'm just. So I was like on my list. You build up a list, right, on the website, right, and then they just send you what's next on your list. And I was like,
I don't think I ever had it.
Yeah, I had that when I was in London.
What did you have? What sort of racy titles did you?
Well, it wasn't porn, but it was things like remember Red Shoe Diaries with the guy from the X-Files, David Duchovny.
David Duchovny.
Yeah, Red Shoe Diaries. It wasn't like, there was a few that were a little bit. It was what I would say it was softcore.
Yeah.
But it was it was still knockers and stuff like that. So
yeah.
And the occasional push, whatever. But there wasn't any full frontal.
Well, that was enough. That was enough when we were younger.
Yeah, that was when I was in London, yeah. So it wasn't going to my mum's house.
No, well, when I was at Blockbuster, I could rent out whatever I wanted. And that's when I kind of got into the box set binging. So, like I watched things like The Wire and The Sopranos and those big shows and binged on them. But since then, since having children and things like that, I'm just knackered by the end of the day. I've had enough.
Yeah, don't show Game of Thrones to your children. Especially the early seasons are pretty intense. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that would be a. I do understand why a lot of people did like Game of Thrones. There's lots of reasons. It's basically blood, gore, tits, and pretty much it, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was good because also you didn't a lot of these programs where I'm trying to think of a series, but you always know they're going to be all right because they're the main character. But in this one, they all just die over a period of 8 seasons, whatever. Or I mean, the first 3 or 4 seasons, main characters who are in the story were just killed in battle. That's it, gone. And it was a real you don't know, because some of them are big stars, right? Some of these movie stars, whatever. And all of a sudden they'll just be dead, and you'd be like, well, he's gone then. He wouldn't come back, and that's it. Just be like having these huge stars. Although a lot of them are sort of more huge stars now that they've been in it, I guess. So maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. But Sean Bean was in it. He was in the first series.
Yeah, Sean Bean.
Loads of. I know that
we've met somebody that's been in it.
We've met somebody.
Yeah, when we used to go up to London for parties before we moved up to London. I don't know, but I don't know how many episodes she was in. But do you remember Stephanie Blacker, who's a friend of?
Oh yeah. Was she in it?
Yeah, she's in a few episodes. Yeah.
Who did she play? Do you know?
I've got no idea, but I know that because
I don't remember seeing her, but then again, there is a lot of makeup and digital effects and things like that. So she was probably. I'd imagine she was some kind of slave or something. There's a lot of slaves and slaves and whores in the first sort of few series.
Wow.
And if I don't remember her, she was probably one of those.
She could be seriously offended by that, Phil, that you've just quickly decided that she was probably
yeah, but the thing is, like, there was the main characters, really, like the main character. She wasn't a character in it. I don't. Was she? Like, she wasn't. She didn't have a huge
I don't
part.
know.
I'll have a look on IMDb. Yeah, but if not, like, the only other people were like women, because it's very like old world. Like, the women are basically all in the early seasons either slaves or hookers, unless you're like a queen or unless you're like royalty. And there was a lot of that going on in the early seasons, especially.
I think she was early. I don't think she doesn't act anymore. I don't think, but yeah,
I remember her. Yeah, she was a bit of a nutcase, I think. But she was alright, wasn't she? She was alright. Yeah. Let's have a look.
Yourself now.
Stephanie, I'm guessing that's PH, right? Stephanie Blacker. Is that her real name? Like, is that her?
I think so. I think that's her real name. Yeah.
DB. Yeah, she's on there. Yeah. Game of Thrones, 2011. Yeah. So did she have a? Oh wow, it's dark, that picture. So who did she play in Game of Thrones? Stephanie Blacker, is an actress known for Game of Thrones, I Want Candy, and the picture. She looks like either a slave or a lady of the night.
Well, there was one time we went up to London for a party, I remember, and it was when because our friend Hannah was a flatmate with Stephanie, and she'd invited us up to a party, which was it was kind of like a post premiere party that Stephanie was going to have at the flat. And she stars in I Want Candy with the ex-Baywatch star Carmen Electra. And we were told...
Oh, yeah, I've seen that, yeah. That was 2007, that was.
Yeah.
So she's got a name in Game of Thrones. Her name is Violet.
Okay. I'm sure there's lots of names in Game of Thrones, though, isn't there?
No, but I mean, what I mean is she wasn't just like...
In the background,
like, because a lot of these programs, like, they don't give names. If you're not like spoken about, they don't give you a name, right? Apart from Star Wars, where every single character's got a name.
But we went up to this party, and we were naive. We naively at 23, I think we would have been at the time, 24, thought that Carmen Electra was going to turn up.
Turn up to the party.
Yeah, because we were told that's what was going to happen, and so we naively thought that was what would happen. And
she was probably married to Thingy then. What's his name?
I don't know. Who was she married to?
She was married to Dave Navarro, the guy from what was his called? Dave Navarro. The musician, the guitar player.
Yeah.
Dave Navarro was in Audio Slave, was it?
I don't know. You know that stuff better than me, Phil.
Dave Navarro was in. He used to be in the Chili Peppers, but Jane's Addiction, that was it. Yeah, but he used to be in the Red Hot Chili Peppers for like early 90s.
So I know Jane's name. I wouldn't know.
Jane's Addiction. Yeah, married 2003 till 2007. Yeah. So,
one thing I wanted to bring up while we were talking on here is that do you remember this isn't the first time we've done this?
The first time what? We've done a podcast?
Well, not the first time we've done a podcast. It's the first time we've done a podcast. But when we were younger, I remember because I stumbled across the tape some years later when I was like in my 20s and disposed of it. We recorded a radio show.
Yeah, I used to do them quite a lot.
Yeah, we did one together with on an old cassette recorder that I had. It had a little built-in microphone. It was a Sony cassette recorder.
Yeah,
I found it, and I'd recorded loads of like of the new hit singles off of the radio, and I listed them, and then we sat, I think probably in my living room, and did a radio show, and then we played songs in between our chats. So this isn't the first time we've done
it. Probably wouldn't have been much different from this. Just without the songs, because you can't play songs on YouTube.
No,
unless they're just these non-copyrighted songs. But yeah, no, I used to do them quite a bit, because I remember one time I did one with David Humphrey, like this other kid we used to go to school with, David Humphrey, and then I buried it in the garden in a time capsule. You know, one of those time capsule things that people used to make. Like, it's just a box with not old stuff, but stuff that was like relevant then for somebody to dig up in 100 years' time and go, wow, these guys must have been huge radio stars. So I think I buried like probably some of my brother's Star Wars figures, which he's probably not very happy about. Like a newspaper, I think probably from the early 90s. And a tape of me and David, I think. Yeah. So yeah, you used to have the capability to record when you used to press two buttons at the same time, didn't you?
Yeah, to press two buttons at the same time. And I think what we did was my mum and dad, so we would have been maybe 10 at the time, something like that. And my mum and dad had like it was a good like Sony sort of stacker hi-fi. And so we'd play a cassette tape, we'd get one of the speakers and we put the speaker up to the recorder, and he'd press play on the big stereo when we wanted to play a song. I think we had to go into the other room. So when we were going to play a song, you could probably hear one of us getting up and going into the other room and pressing play on the tape.
Yeah. I don't think it was. It was probably not that professional.
No, there was no producer involved.
No.
So it was just all about the talent, basically.
Yeah, it's all about the talent. But you think, like, even 10 years ago, like, you wouldn't have been able to do this unless you had a studio behind you, probably. Like, you wouldn't be able to do a podcast like this 10 years ago.
No, probably not.
No,
probably not. It was
about that time, wasn't it? Probably the first ones came. I know, like, the first podcast was when it became famous was like through Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant and Carl Pilkington did their podcast. That was one of the first big ones. Yes, but they were already in that business, right? That was probably more than that. I think that was probably 2000, 2002, 2003 they started that. But they were already like working together in a radio studio. So they had the equipment available. But now, like, you literally it's not really so much microphones and things like that, but it's the capability to capture this amount of information, like this video that we're going to capture now. I mean, the amount of storage it takes up. A computer 10 years ago would have been your hard drive gone, probably, just for one big video. And like the camera I've got is like a 1080 HP camera, which is okay. It's like there's nothing special, but like, it'd almost be like one of those real moving all around. Like, even if you watch Joe Rogan's first podcast, which I watched a little while ago, that's about 10 years. And like, you watch the first ones, they're almost unwatchable, the way that the screen is like flickering so much. And just the fact that now he's in this huge studio and it's like everything's just bang, but he's built up to that. But when they started, like, he's probably using quite decent equipment when they started. Like, equipment of the time was quite good. And also they had a thing I saw the other day with Tom Green, Tom Green was also one of the first people who he had a show like on TV or an internet show. I think it was an internet show, but he had people like Skype call into his show, and the people on the webcam, like, you can barely see them. It just looks like a potato, like, with hair, because the webcams were so bad. But now you can get like HD webcams and stuff. So
and now I think there's something like there are more than 600,000 different podcast creators.
Yeah.
Around the world. So there's lots of them, and there's some really, really good stuff. I keep trying to get my parents to get involved in podcasts, and because there's so much stuff out there, some really good content, and they're kind of wedded to radio. I think they're not going to really come away from it.
I thought you meant you're going to get your mum and dad to do a podcast.
That would be quite funny.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. But you know, they're into. My dad listens to Radio 4, BBC Radio 4, the whole day.
Yeah.
So he will go through everything. He'll listen to Woman's Hour. He'll listen to absolutely everything. He won't go off. Won't go off at all. So when he works, he's a landscape gardener. So he's outside, and he's just got the radio on, and he's hammering away to whatever's on. I don't know what. I can't remember the stuff that's on
Radio 4.
Yeah, Woman's Hour. Last Word, that's a good one.
No.
Last Word, that's like the obituary program. You could do an obituary program.
That's nice and uplifting then. They'll be ram-packed at the moment, won't they?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's not normal people though. They're not interested in normal people. You've got to have done something to be on Last Word.
But a few of those have gone as well, haven't they, recently?
Yeah.
Fortunately. A few famous people have... what's his name? Norman Hunter? Your namesake?
Oh, yeah.
The footballer. He's gone. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not caught too many people yet, the coronavirus, like that... that you'd expect.
There was a rapper that died today in his... I saw a rapper who got it, and he died today. He did look quite heavily obese, so I'm guessing that might have played a part. I don't know if he had any underlying health issues, but he wasn't that old. Can't remember his name though. I think it was like... I'll have a look now. Yeah, but he wasn't that old. I think he was only in his 30s.
Oh, right, okay. Well, we probably won't know too many rappers in the 30s.
35. His name is The Godson. Bronx rapper Fred the Godson dies of coronavirus, 35. He's massive, though, to be fair.
I find
he might have had... nobody knows. You don't know if he's had underlying health conditions or anything like that. It says battling coronavirus, passed away at the age of 35 after battling coronavirus.
He's gone.
He's gone. Yeah, I don't know who he was, but
if you're like a gangster rapper, you definitely don't want to die by coronavirus, do you?
Yeah.
If you're going to go out,
yeah,
it's got to be more dramatic than coronavirus, I think.
Yeah,
I don't think you're going to get a spike in sales after your death posthumously. If you've died of coronavirus, you've got to really like.
I bet more people have probably heard of him though. To be fair, now because I'd never heard of him before. I just saw it on the news earlier. I mean, I'm not going to go. I might go and listen to his music, which I wouldn't have done before because I'd never heard of him. But I mean, it's a shame, isn't it? But yeah, 35 from coronavirus. Yeah, but whether or not he had health conditions already.
Well, I think obesity definitely plays.
It's a big one, isn't it? Yeah, obesity is a big one because it's a breathing thing, isn't it? Oh wow, there's a picture of him on Instagram. Not a picture of him dead, like there's a picture of like his last picture, I guess, that he's took himself. There's a picture of him in the hospital with a respirator on his Instagram. It says, yeah, basically, but we've got it says, I'm in here with this Corvus 19 shit.
What's that? Say that again.
It says, I don't like it. I'm in here with this Corvus 19 shit. Please keep me in your prayers. God, #God is great. Not that great, is he? Didn't keep you alive, did he?
Not this time.
Your prayers were not answered, unfortunately. But no, I mean obviously it's horrendous, and you just make jokes just to sort of make light of it, really. But Yeah, so 35 though. That's younger than us.
Yeah, yeah. How's that younger than us? How are we older than 35?
I know. When I was looking the other day, and I was thinking, what did I see the other day? That was like they were saying some football players are going to be out of contract soon, right? So some of them are coming to the end of their careers. And it was like, he might not have another year in football. So this might be it. He might have just played his last game. He was like 34. I was like, oh God, like if we were football players, like soccer players, football players, we would be finished at 37 unless we were a goalkeeper or unless we were a freak.
Unless you're just
like
complete,
Ryan Giggs,
Cristiano
Maldini.
Ronaldo is going to go on
Ronaldo.
forever.
Yeah.
You've got to be a superstar or have something freakish about you.
Yeah.
Who's that? Like that massive unit of a striker that plays in the lower leagues. He's just gigantic.
Akinfenwa.
Yeah,
Akinfenwa.
Because he's got like a USP, like a unique selling point. He can probably go on for quite a while. Yeah. You know, he's not necessarily fast. He's strong, but you've got to have something particular about you, or otherwise.
I mean, 37, we'd be literally, if we were a striker, we'd be well long gone, probably, at 37, I would have thought, unless we were like Luca Toni, like a target man. I guess target man you could do, couldn't you? Ibrahimovic should probably go in for a while.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Crouch retired,
and
he was, he's older than us, I think. So, you can definitely go on a bit longer. I think also there's a big part of it's desire at the end of the day. I think sometimes it's just, I've met a few guys that have played in lower league football that are about this age and our age, and they just don't, they've slipped out of it because they just don't have that desire anymore.
I watched the interview with Peter Crouch, and they asked him to stay on, but he said, like, I think it was who's the guy? What's his name? The manager. Oh God, I can't remember his name. Wasn't it the ginger guy?
Sean Dyche at Burnley.
Sean Dyche, is it? Yeah, because didn't he play at Burnley? He asked him to stay on. Yeah, he asked him to stay on. And but Sean Dyche said to him, "Look, I want you to stay on, but we're going to use him. You know, we're going to use you for the last 15 minutes and just probably just launch the ball up to you if we're 1-0 down or a goal down." And he said, "That's not all I want." He goes, "I physically feel like I can play a full game, but unless I drop into the Championship or probably League One, really, because the Championship's quite competitive, isn't it? It's more about physicality, I would have thought. I'm not going to be starting games." He said, I might as well just, I don't need to. He doesn't need the money, does he? So he just said, I'll just leave, just do something.
No, and I think he's quite a smart guy, and I think he'd be looking at things that he could do outside. You know, he kind of, in some respects, maybe mentally had like one foot out of football already.
Yeah,
he was looking at where he could go afterwards, and I think
he said he got annoyed that clubs were looking at him like, well, we could bring him in and we could sit him on the bench, and then if we're 1-0, you know, if we're a goal down with 10 minutes to go, we'll stick Crouch on. And he thought that he could still play at a level where he could be starting games, and then he just got annoyed and he said that he just didn't want it anymore. So he thought, I might as well just leave.
And also there's when you're 6'7" and you're a pretty good header of the ball, people just see you as that potentially. But I mean, there's some fantastic goals that Peter Crouch
he's quite skillful,
with his feet. He's quite a skillful guy, and quite, you know, if you give him some space, he could be quite lethal. And then if you're just going to be sort of just seen in a two-dimensional way, and there's no disrespect to the managers, because I can understand why they would, but if you're Peter Crouch, you're like, well, I don't want to just finish my career being stuck up top and people lumping balls up to me. You know, that's not. I won't get any fun out of that.
10 minutes for 10 minutes a week and train all week just to play like 10 minutes at the weekend. No, I get it. Yes. Well, I did see also earlier that, I don't know if you've seen the first series, but Afterlife, the new Ricky Gervais thing, that starts today.
to start today
on Netflix.
I haven't seen the first series.
It's really good, really good. I enjoyed it.
I find it. I've got like a bit of a. I think The Office was fantastic, and obviously he wrote that with Stephen Merchant, and they were a great writing duo off the bat, and so they went into extras and wrote together extras and.
Which I didn't really. I didn't think it was that good. Extras. I didn't like extras that much. His movies I haven't really liked very much. Ghost Town is it, and the other one, and the Invention of Lying. Didn't really get into those. Derek I liked. I thought that was good.
Well, I think the thing for me, once him and Stephen Merchant broke up, there was something that kind of. It was obviously there's something lost. It's a partnership, and when you break up in that partnership for whatever reason, you kind of it didn't feel the same anymore.
But it's not the same. It's not a comedy. I mean, it is funny, but I would say it's more of a. I mean, it is technically it's a comedy because there's kind of. There's not punchlines. It's more of an emotional.
It looks to me a little bit like how a show that he's been in actually that won't get any credit anymore because of who made it, Louis C.K.
Oh
so
yeah,
Louis C.K. had like a no.
Well, he's back though, isn't he? He was doing a special again.
Yeah, I think that it's difficult because. I mean, a lot of people have, the whole Me Too thing on the Me Too scale. What Louis C.K. did is lower down the scale than a lot of other things. I mean, there was, for example, like Dustin Hoffman asked out a teenage girl. I mean, that's not really cool. You're 40 something, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Maybe you shouldn't be asking out a teenage girl when you're 40 something. I would say, but at the same time, I didn't really feel it was fair for him to be lumped in with prolific.
No, exactly.
Prolific rapists and stuff like that. That wouldn't seem fair. So, but Louis, if you haven't seen it, Louis is really good. It's quite downbeat, and Ricky Gervais appears in it in one episode as Louis' doctor, and it is really funny. That's a really good episode. The episode with Doug Stanhope, who's one of my favourite comedians, is really good as well. But Louis, it looks like it's a little bit like Louis to me. And they're
Afterlife.
They're really good friends. Afterlife, yeah, it looks kind of like
it's
it would be
really good. I really enjoyed it. I binge watched the first series like whenever it was, a year or year and a half ago when it came out, and I loved it. And it's good because also it's like I think it's only 5 episodes or 6 episodes. So it's like it's shorter than a long movie. Like altogether, it's probably shorter than Titanic, right?
Still haven't seen that.
You still haven't seen that? Okay. Well, maybe you should watch that.
I'm never watching.
Why not?
I'm just not. I'm not watching that film.
You're not watching.
No, what's it about? Come on.
We know what it's about. It's about a boat that hits an iceberg. But,
exactly.
But it's not really.
Story.
I mean, it's a made-up story, isn't it? About people that were on it rather than the actual event. But it's I watched it actually probably a month ago. Titanic. It's good. Really good. Yeah. That's your choice. I'll leave that up to you. But it is good. I think you're missing out by not watching it. It's got what's his name in it, who hasn't been in the movie like ever for some reason. I don't know what's happened to him. Billy Zane.
Billy Zane was awesome.
What happened to him?
Well, I think he
married Kelly Brook, didn't he? I think, and then he
married Kelly Brook. I think the hair loss wasn't good for Billy Zane. He's not a bad looking guy. He's a good looking fella.
Yeah,
but the hair loss didn't work out.
Hollywood, just put some more in.
Yeah, you got to wonder what's going on with people sometimes. There must be something that we don't know about.
Maybe. But he was really good in that.
With one of our favourite actors, someone we've always been a big fan of, me and you.
A new movie.
No, it's an old movie, an
Oh.
Australian movie. If that gives you a hint as to who it would be.
Australian movie, Crocodile Dundee.
No, he's not in Crocodile Dundee.
He's got a new movie coming out.
Is his name Ben? Is it Ben Hogan? No, not Ben. Is it
Paul Hogan.
Paul Hogan?
He's got a movie about him being Crocodile. It's some like weird like being
be
John
like
Malkovich
300 years
thing.
old now.
Yeah,
He must
yeah.
be so old. Well, Billy
So
Zane was in a film called Dead Calm
Mm.
that was that had Nicole Kidman and Sam Neill, where they were just sailing around. It's a kind of like a horror movie. They're sailing around in the Pacific on their nice yacht, and Billy Zane's in a wreck, and they pick him up and rescue him, but then they realise that his story doesn't add up, and other people have died on the wreck and stuff like that. So it's good. Look it up.
Sounds like Titanic. That's a shipwreck.
It doesn't.
Honestly, I can't believe you haven't seen that. Why is there something against it? Like, I don't know. I mean, Kate Winslet. Do you like her? I'm
all right with Kate Winslet. I'm all right with Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know. I've just always found that film.
But you haven't seen it, though?
No.
Yeah.
I think Celine Dion definitely didn't help.
Yeah, but she's not in the movie. She just sings the song that doesn't actually. I think that song. I don't think it's actually in it. I think it's at the end credits. Yeah, I think it's the end.
Well, then that's
the end credits.
It's enough for me to say no. It's awful, that song.
Yeah, but it's a song though, isn't it? It's, like I mean, there's some worse songs out there. There's some horrendous songs. I mean, that one at the end credits, it's good. Honestly, I think. I don't know if you'd enjoy it or not, but it's very good. I quite liked it.
I think I'm so entrenched about not ever watching that film.
Yeah.
If I did actually watch it,
I think you might like it. You'd be like, "Why didn't I watch this all that time ago?"
I'd be furious. I'd be so angry that I'd watched it. I'd be angry with myself. I'd probably have to have counselling afterwards. I think.
Nah.
No, because I'd let myself down. That's how I'd feel.
I don't know why you wouldn't watch it though. I think you should get on that. Anyway, so what were we talking about before that? Afterlife. I think you should give that a chance as well.
Well, I'm not against
some really good people in it. Really good actors.
I'm not against that. I'm not against Afterlife. I think I'd quite like to watch that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. I think sometimes Ricky Gervais can annoy me. I was a massive fan in the past, and then like you said, the movies didn't quite hit. But he's been really. But when he's appeared in, like I said, Louis, he's very funny. He's appeared in Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was really. I quite liked him in that. He played himself in Curb Your Enthusiasm, which was quite good. He's in a few episodes of that. I think it's in season 8, I think, of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So that's worth a watch. But yeah, no, I'll give it a go. Phil.
Yeah, well, you need to watch the first series really to get the context of. It's not even that long. Oh, excuse me. I think it's only 5 episodes, and they're only like half an hour each. I think maximum, maybe 25 minutes each. And they're really good, and it's got the woman from Derek. I don't know if you've seen Derek, but the main woman who is the hospital care worker in Derek. She's his wife.
She's a stand-up comedian as well, isn't she? I've forgotten her name is.
Yeah, she's his wife who's died like before the show starts.
Right.
And no, it's good. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to probably watch maybe the first 2 episodes of that tonight, I think. I can't watch it all tonight because I'll be going to bed. But I will watch probably the first 2 tonight. Maybe string it out over a couple of days. But it's good, really good. Afterlife 2.
He's been promoting it because he's obviously, I don't know if you've seen him doing his like vlogs.
I've watched him. Yeah, I've watched his when he goes live on Twitter. It's funny.
And then I've seen a few of those, and I've kind of warmed to him a little bit more since watching some of them. And then I saw like a 10-minute clip of him on Russell Brand's podcast, where Russell Brand's kind of going into his long well articulated monologues, and you flicks to Ricky Gervais kind of squinting like he's trying to work out what he's saying. But no, I'd quite like to watch all of that, but it's all behind a paywall now, Russell Brand stuff, which is a bit of a shame.
It?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's got like I don't know what company he does it with, but a lot of his stuff is behind a paywall, so you have to subscribe to get it, which
that
is a bit of a
almost
shame.
Seems like I don't know what his agenda
Against
is. Really.
against what Russell Brand's agenda is.
Yeah, it's weird because you think he'd make more money because he's such a big name. He'd make more money on sponsorships from because he's not going to get big sponsors if his viewership is only if you have to pay to get it. The amount of people that are going to watch it are going to be a lot less. So sponsors will probably pay less money. You'd thought. I don't know. Anyway, he's probably got his reasons or whatever. Maybe it's easier because he is a big name. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where
maybe he doesn't want to do the adverts.
Yeah.
Get involved in that. I don't. It does feel like a shame because he's had some really good guests on, and I haven't heard any of them. But it does seem like a shame.
It does seem odd because he's very much like sort of giving out this image of a free and open speech and all that kind of stuff. It's like, come and listen to my free and open speech, but you have to pay for it. So, yeah, it seems a bit odd that it would be like that.
It does seem.
But maybe he's got his reasons behind it. I mean, I don't know whether I don't know. Maybe he's under contract with somebody else and they won't let him do it unless, don't know.
Maybe.
He's probably got his reasons for that, yeah. Could be anything, but...
so you said you were going to tell me about your Football Manager, your twitching.
Yes, so I'm currently. Well, I've just started on Twitch. I've been doing it. I don't know. I'd say a couple of weeks. Twitch.tv/StanSolo TV. Yeah. If you're interested in watching that, come across. There probably will be a link. Actually, there definitely will be a link in the description to send you there. So you can come and follow me there, and then when I'm online, you'll get notified about that. So what I do is normally do about 3 or 4 hours in a row, like in a big shift, which is kind of standard. Like, I mean, some people are nuts. Like, there's a guy because I'm following a few other people on there, and like whenever I turn the computer on, it's like he's online playing. He doesn't play Football Manager though. He plays one of those mad like first-person shooter games. His brain must be fried because it's literally like there's stuff going on all over. It's like he's killing like aliens and zombies or whatever, and he's in these team games where he's coordinating but he's on it all the time. Like whenever I turn the computer on, it's like he's online playing this game. But he's quite successful. Like he's got, I think the other day he had like 120,000 people watch him play a game, which is insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
how is
they earn super money as well. Like these proper Twitch streamers.
We talk about this. We've talked about it a few times, though. I mean, the idea that when we were kids that you could make a really good living, from playing computer games would be like, your parents would tell you to shut up.
Yeah, well, the only people who did it when we were doing it were programmers, like people making the game.
Yeah,
and they probably weren't very much.
No one knows who the programmers are, do they?
No.
No one knows who they are.
Apart from the one for Football Manager, who's the face of Football Manager, isn't he? Miles.
Yeah, I guess so. But you've got the guys that do like the esports stuff. You've got the people that are on Twitch, on YouTube. There's so many people making money out of interacting or playing with computer games or doing something with computer games. It's absolutely crazy, and it is fairly compelling. I mean,
it is, yeah, it is.
People do it well. We talk about it. That I'm not going to get into Truck Simulator. I'm definitely not going to get into.
There's a guy who does Truck Simulator who I watch. He's the only one that I watch that does it, right? And he's not just trucks. He does like sims. So he does like Flight Simulator, Truck Simulator. Like there's this island builder one where you're stranded on an island and you've got to build your way. I don't really know much about it, but it's like he does simulators. That's all he does, is simulators, right? Apart from Football Manager, he doesn't do that. But his screen name is Squirrel, right? So he's just Squirrel. But he's probably I'd say he's probably mid-40s, early 50s. And he started 10 years ago, and like every stream, he's got like tens of thousands of people watching. Play Truck Simulator, like literally drive real time from London to Budapest. But you see him because he's got the whole thing set up. So what you're watching on the screen is you're watching him do it. But when he's got his camera on him, and when you see his setup, he's got like a wall of screen. So it literally, he looks like he's getting into a truck. He's got the chair, he's got the controls, like he's got like 4 screens. So like even if he looks behind him, he can still see out the back window because it's got like a screen there.
Yeah.
So he's literally in this like thing, and he looks, all the way around, and he can see. If he looks left, like he can see, birds and trees out the window and stuff. But I was saying, like, the weird thing is that he gets paid more money on twitching on stream driving a truck than he would if he was actually doing the delivery as a truck driver. Like, he's doing the same drive.
He's smashing it.
Like, he's getting like farm, just from sitting in his house. He's driving an invisible truck that doesn't even exist, and he's getting paid more than a truck driver gets paid just for playing a computer game where he's driving a truck from A to B. But it's
I have seen it. I've seen Limmy, and Limmy is a Scottish
comedian. I've seen him.
Yeah, and he gets road rage. Limmy's quite funny. He's so bizarre. But I've seen his, and where he has road rage, and he just mauls people.
The game I've got, because I've got the game Euro Truck Simulator. Right? I've got the game, and it's so like, it's different because really I'm playing it on the keyboard and mouse, but you need the pedals and the thing to get fully immersed in it. Because also with the steering wheel, it's like you can turn it a little bit. With the keys, it's either you press a key or you don't. So when you turn left or right, it's full left, full right. It's a bit more. You have to sort of tap it so it doesn't go crazy, whatever. But
yeah, I can't. The people who are quite creative. I mean, obviously that's creative, but to a certain extent, if you've got like the full rig and stuff. But some of the Football Manager guys, we talked about the guy work the space, who I quite like.
Yeah.
And then the one I watch is the City Skylines is the one I watch. People, but that's very, very creative. So there's a lot of people doing really creative things with what is a really interesting like city simulator.
Yeah.
So it's amazing how immersive and how compelling it is watching other people play computer games. I remember when you got a Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah.
And back then you got it on Christmas. You got it for Christmas.
Christmas Day, I got it.
Yeah, Christmas Day.
Sonic 1.
And
that's it.
And I said, because we would phone each other on Christmas Day and ask each other what we got. You'd normally get more sort of high ticket presents than me. And I remember you getting the Mega Drive.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, can I come round?" And you said, "Yeah, come round." So on Christmas Day, I asked if I could go round to your house, and surprisingly enough, I was allowed to go round to your house for a few hours.
Yeah.
And I went to your house, and I had to basically do like an early viewing of like as if I was on YouTube, where you wouldn't let me play it, and I had to watch you play it for 2 hours and then go home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I probably didn't even do that well back in the day. So yeah. Yeah,
I remember your mum getting upset because she said, Philip, is Leslie? Are you giving Leslie a game?" And,
no.
And then in the end, I was like, "Oh, well, that's cool, Phil. I'm going to go home now." And you're like, "Yeah, okay," and that was it. So
tough times, there, isn't it?
I never got a Mega Drive. I got a PlayStation. That was it. I had an Amiga 500, and before then I had a Spectrum Sinclair. Did you have a Spectrum?
Yeah. No, I didn't have one of them. I had a Atari 2600, which was like the first console.
Yeah,
which was Space Invaders, basically. It was like it had Space Invaders on it. It was old school, proper old. But it was a console because the Spectrum had a keyboard and everything, didn't it?
Yeah,
this one was just a joystick with one button.
It had a cassette tape. So you had to put the cassettes in.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
Sinclair. Yeah,
Dizzy the Egg or whatever it's called.
Dizzy. That was my Amiga 500. Dizzy
Yeah.
the Egg was Amiga 500.
That was good.
And that was an
Archipelago
awesome.
is another one. Archipelago. That was
Archipelago. My mum was addicted to that game.
Yeah.
She was on,
like, if you looked at it now, like, I bet it was just literally dots. It was just like landscape thing. It was just green and blue for the sea. It was weird.
You basically were always moving forwards, and all you had to do was move the directional buttons for Archipelago. And if the sea level was rising, and you had to find the archipelago before the sea level rose, and you couldn't get to it.
Yeah,
I think that was what the game was. So that was and then I had a PlayStation after that. Got the first PlayStation. You had a PlayStation as well, didn't you?
Yes, I remember. I got it from Kareem, who I think Kareem got a PlayStation 2. So I bought his PlayStation off him, but I had to sell my Mega Drive.
Did you?
And then because it wasn't like a Christmas or birthday. It was like Kareem was selling his PlayStation because he was getting a PlayStation 2, I think, or something like that. He was getting something, or he was getting a.
I think there's quite a gap between the PlayStation
else,
1 and
whatever.
2. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, but he had it for ages. Kareem had it for ages, and then so anyway, I remember selling my Mega Drive and then getting that, and I think it had Destruction Derby on the PlayStation, Destruction Derby 1, Die Hard Trilogy, where Die Hard 1, 2, and 3, and Crash Bandicoot. The first Crash Bandicoot.
Nice.
Yeah, which is awesome. I like that one.
The best game you had on the Mega Drive was Road Rash.
Road Rash 2, yeah, that was. I played that the other day. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now you can get this thing. I got it the other day. It's for PC, and it's got like 100 Mega Drive games on. And I was like, just played Road Rash for like 3 hours. I was going to stream it, but I was like, I couldn't work out how to do it because it's quite easy with modern games. But yeah, no, it was awesome. Yeah, so I'm currently playing as Pisa, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, FC Pisa or whatever it is in Italy.
Oh yeah.
So we were tipped for relegation first season.
What level are you playing? What league?
Serie B.
Serie B.
Yeah. So they got promoted last season.
Mm-hmm.
So the season I took over, which is like the season it came out, they're in Serie B. So I got, but they were tipped for relegation because they'd just come up and they got no money whatsoever. I signed one player. I was like, and I thought he was going to be like the bee's knees. He was pretty shocking, but he's doing all right. He's getting better, but yeah, I nicknamed him Bishop Miserowa because he had a name that sounded like. Do you remember him, Bishop Miserowa? That bishop, who's like a famous bishop. But his name was like, I couldn't say his second name, but it looked like Miserowa, like the Bishop Miserowa character. So I was like, I'll just nickname him Bishop Miserowa. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people don't know who that is, but he was a famous bishop.
Okay.
That's it. Let's just remember his name from his name. It was like, it's just called Bishop Miserowa. Yeah. So you can look at him up if you feel like it. But yeah, we're doing all right. So we're 7th. Top 8 get playoffs, and we're 7th at the moment with 6 games to go. Doing all right. Yeah, doing all right. Got some good youngsters in there as well as a couple of good loan signings. And we're doing all right. So yeah.
I can't. That's it.
/StanSolo TV. Come across and watch me play computer games at some point.
I don't play. We played Football Manager or Championship Manager and then Football Manager for so many years, but it's only maybe in the last 3 years I haven't played it. So I got to about 34 and that was it. Yeah. I stopped. Yeah. It's I miss it. It's
it's good. I mean, it's so good now. Like the game is so good, it's just ridiculous. Like the depth in which it goes into is just crazy. But it's more time consuming. Like if you want to get deep into it. Although you can still like because I'm on stream, I'm very aware because when I play it on stream, I'm very aware that I don't just want to sit there looking at stats on a screen for like a long time. Like, so I do take more risks and try and make it more entertaining by taking a few more risks and stuff like that. And the game moves a lot quicker.
I remember once being fed up. I was like, I've got to find a new midfielder. I've got to find a new central midfielder. And I trawled through like all these different countries in their lower leagues, just going into all of their squads and looking up every single player that was central midfield. And I remember I did that for 6 hours. That would definitely not make a very good stream.
No, exactly. Well, I mean, some people do get into it. Like there are times where people, but I think you need to make it a little bit entertaining. Like I play because it's on stream as well, so you can have because it's not like an action game like there's stuff going on all the time. So like you are able to play music. So I've got like a jukebox thing set up so you can request songs and it just, I don't know how it works, but you can like put this code in, like it just is like request / and then the song name you want, and it will just find it on the internet and it will just play it. And it was the queue's done for you, so everything's done for you. So I've set that all up. So I've got a playlist of like 200 songs. So if nobody requests anything, it just goes through the playlist. Yeah.
So how many people are you getting viewing your streams?
Oh, the other day I had five on there.
That's still 5 people. That's still 5 people.
I had 5 people solidly for about 3 or 4 hours watching me, like giving me suggestions, getting into it as well, like getting to know the players and stuff. Yeah. You just got to be careful because like there's times of the day like I have to really go on sort of late morning, early afternoon, because in the evening in England, like all of the big streamers are always doing it in the evening, like from sort of 4 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight. Like you've got all the big streamers who are just on there who've already got followers, like subscribers basically, but Twitch subscribers. So like as soon as they come on, like everybody just swarms to their channels. So for the people who are like just starting out, getting like 0 views or 0 to 10 people coming watching them, like I'd imagine like if I'm streaming in the evening and somebody's watching my stream and then big streamers come on, they're like, okay, see you later, I'm gonna go and watch this guy because I know who he is.
Yeah.
So you've got to pick your time. So like sort of morning, early afternoon UK time, there's not that many people on there playing Football Manager, so that's a good time. Even during lockdown, like it's been, I've been on there. Like I went on there yesterday, and I did 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. and nobody came. No, not one person. Okay. I played for 3 hours talking to myself because I was doing talking commentary for 3 hours. Not one person.
But then that justifies that because didn't you do that before at some point when you were playing Football Manager? Were you talking to yourself ever?
Yeah, all the time. I was shouting at the screen. I was getting mad.
Yeah.
But like, I looked at the people who were streaming. It was like you had all the top sort of like the top 10 guys were all streaming in the evening, and I was like, well, there's no point at the moment because you'll need. I mean, I've got like 15, 20 subscribers on there, so, and obviously they're not going to be watching it all the time. So people have to find you organically, and by the more time you play and the more followers you get, sort of you get bumped up a list a little bit more, whatever. And every time I go on at that time, it's getting better and better. I get more interaction. But I remember the first week, I think I had 3 people the first week. Like came in 3 people, like not at the same time either. It was me and one guy for like an hour, and then he'd disappear. He'd chat to me like, "Oh, see you later, mate," and then it'd be like an hour later, someone else would come in. All right.
I couldn't be that one person. I have to go. I'd be like, maybe if there's 2 of us watching.
No, it's all right because I mean, some people would come in, like some people would go up to like 5, and only 3 people would chat with you, and the other 2 just sit there watching it, or they'd probably put it on their, in the driving their car or something, just put it on the background. Because it's good because you chat and you don't have to chat about the game. You chat, and you also can play music because if you're streaming, like you can play any music. You just can't make videos out of it because if you put it onto YouTube, like it will just get copyright stricken, right? And you can do anything. Like it was weird. Like the other day, I went on. I was saying I had a few beers with Grant, and then I went on. And I started just because it's not just games, right? Twitch is not just games. You got your own channel, right? You can do anything you want, basically. Apart from like they're proper strict with like things like there's a lot of cam girls, not cam girls, but like girls that have just got massive tits,
Yeah.
right? And they go on there and just get tons of money. But they're really you've got to be really careful because like even if you're on the internet and you show a page, and if it's got like a, they're super super hot on banning people. Like some guy the other day, I saw a video the other day. Some guy pulled it like some. I think he was he. I'm pretty sure he's American because he had a gun, right? So it would have been American. But he had a gun in his drawer, and he won a game of something, and he got this gun out of the drawer, and all of a sudden he bang, and he shot it accidentally, and it was loaded, and he shot it in, and he blew a hole in his wall, and he got banned. It was like game over, right? And he had like 20,000, 30,000 subscribers or whatever. Nah, sorry, banned. Like they're really hot on banning people. But I went on the other day, like I had a few beers with Grant, my friend Grant, and I was like, I'll do some karaoke. So I just went on YouTube and I got the screen up because it's done through OBS, right? So OBS is the open broadcast thing. So you can basically, so on the screen, what they could see was like a little thing of me in the corner, and then the rest of the screen was YouTube. And so I load up like karaoke. I was doing like Neil Diamond on my own at like 3:00 in the morning, just doing like, there was like 4 people watching. I was just sitting there and I had a couple of drinks and like I was just going, hand touching hand, that kind of stuff, right? There's people commenting like, what's this guy doing? It was hilarious. You can just do that, and then the next time I come on and play Football Manager, so it's good because it's streaming, so it's not saved anywhere, so you don't really have any copyright issues as much.
Sounds good.
That's funny. Yeah.
Well, I might have to go in a minute, Phil.
Yeah, no worries. We've done about an hour and 20 minutes, which is pretty good, isn't it? Pretty solid.
It's not bad.
Probably the longest ever a gin and tonics lasted me.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So what are you doing now then? What's the rest of the evening got?
Now I'm going to probably watch a couple of episodes of.
Oh, you said Afterlife. Yeah.
Afterlife, and then I've got the Rebel Scum live stream, which is a Rebel Scum podcast, Star Wars podcast at 11 p.m. So I'm going to either be watching it or I'll be on it because they're doing trivia tonight, I think. So I'm going to be on that tonight. So anybody watching wants to subscribe to, if you've been watching for an hour and 20 minutes waiting for some Star Wars news, come to watch the Rebel Scum podcast. Sometimes I'm on it.
We didn't talk about Star Wars at all.
I should do some questions like that because I did ask, even like on Grant's. I had Grant Barsdow, the NHS worker, on the first ever podcast, and even that one I did ask him. I've got a few questions.
He watched the first 6 movies though, didn't he?
Yes, he told me that before. Came on, so
he
I was
prepares.
like, right,
he prepares for it.
Yeah, he watched all 6. Well, no, I say all 6, like 6 out of the 9, right? So, but it was funny because like it's funny watching somebody who has no. Star Wars it's a fantastic fan base. Like I've met loads of friends online, online friends, whatever, like through Star Wars. It's been great. I've met like some really lovely people, and I'm friends with some now. And hopefully, at some point in the future, I want to go out and go to Star Wars Celebration, which is like the convention they have every 2 years, but it's always in America, so it's difficult, right? But or Canada. And and hopefully maybe I can meet up with them and stuff. It'd be really cool, right? Meet some new friends or whatever. And but online, like if you look at Star Wars Twitter, Star Wars YouTube, right, whatever, like it's toxic. It's proper toxic because you've got the people like the old school people who are just like original trilogy, that's it.
Yeah.
Then you've got sort of like the new people that came into it from the new movies, who are like, well, we hate the prequels because they're not the originals, whatever. And then and the people that watch the new movies love the new movies and don't understand why people don't like the prequels. But Grant's like, I've never seen Star Wars before. I have no idea about any of it. So he watched 1 to 6 in order
Yeah.
Like, so he watched the prequels before he watched the original trilogy. And I asked him who he liked. He's like, he goes, I don't like Leia. She's boring.
Well, if you think about it, if you watch
she's
the
like
first
sacrilege almost, isn't it? It's like she's just literally died in real life as well. So like, there'll be people like crying on podcasts if you tell them that.
if you watch the first episode 1, 2, and 3 first,
yeah,
you'd be like, okay, so there's loads of action.
Yeah.
And then what the fuck happened on 4, 5, and 6? Why is it so boring? Why is it so slow?
But it's the stories are better, aren't they? The first,
yeah, well,
the stories are better. They are hands down. The overall arc of Luke Skywalker's character is fantastic. Like Luke Skywalker's character, Darth Vader's character, Han Solo, they all have great character arcs that build for it. I mean,
the first
episode 1 starts off, right? The first half an hour is about a trade dispute. So it's this kids' movie that was made. Episode 1, Phantom Menace, was made for kids. The first half an hour is like, oh, there's a trade dispute. Like, people were like, what? And then there's these crazy guys who sort of like speak in a Chinese accent, but they're not meant to be Chinese. And it's all a little bit like odd the first half an hour. After that, it's good, But it is a little bit weird at the beginning. But the original trilogy is obviously a little bit special because you're never going to recreate that.
I think for episode 4, so the first movie, came out in 1977.
Yeah.
So at that time, you had this really quite. If you think about what cinema was like at that time, you had lots of fantastic sort of narrative-driven, great movies. I mean, you weren't that far away from the Godfather Part 1 and 2. They were like early 70s. You had gritty movies and things like that. So what was going on in Hollywood is kind of reflected a little bit in that first, especially in A New Hope, because it is kind of a bit grubby and it is good storytelling.
Yeah.
And then you've got this dark on obviously Empire Strikes Back, which is 1980, and then 83 you've got Return of the Jedi, which is a bit more. Well, that definitely is the most kind of light and entertaining one, I would say, of the originals. So, but yeah, it's a complete. Those 3 movies compared to the prequels, it's like a massive gear change in like speed of and then so I can see why some people.
Yeah, but Grant's never seen any of them, or not properly sat down and paid attention to them. So he was like, "Yeah, it was good. I liked it, enjoyed it." I was like, "That's good," but it's good getting a fresh eye because he has no idea about like the banter between the prequels and the sequels and the original trilogy. Like, it's toxic online. It's really toxic. Like a lot of it's there's people like dedicating their whole lives to like trying to get like somebody like they had a thing like with the episode 9. Like I enjoyed episode 9. I really liked it. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really good. There was bits in it. I was like, there's bits in it. Where I was like, yeah, well, that could have been different and whatever. As soon as the movie was over, like people were petitioning. Like when everyone now you can write a petition, and like if enough people sign it, like people have to read it, whatever. That was the thing. Oh, remake episode 9. I was like, oh god, it's just done now. Like it's over. Just deal with it. Like it didn't happen the way you wanted it to. Just deal with it. Like get on with it. That is how it is now.
Those movies, so like the sequels, the 7, 8, 9. I haven't seen 9, because just so I haven't got around to it. But and it's different now. Like watching movies is different now. I've got to really watch a lot when I'm investing time in watching a movie. I've got to really think about it, and most of the time it's what I'm going to be able to watch with my daughters.
Yeah. Well, you'd be able to watch Star Wars.
Yeah, we watched 8. We watched
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the one I have. I have some. I don't really like it that much, but I mean, that's what it is. Like that's they hired this director and he took it in that direction, I didn't
But this is
like
all,
it, but
and
at the
these
same
movies have all
time,
come out when basically cinema is completely like it's just controlled by Marvel movies.
yeah,
So they're the only movie. They're the movies that make money. They're the only movies that basically are in the cinema,
Mm.
and it's got to be action, action, action. I don't mind some of the characters in the new ones, and
oh,
I think some of
I love the movies that they've made. But I mean, that's the thing about being like a hardcore Star Wars fan. Like at the end of the day, I don't really like The Last Jedi, but I'm still going to watch it like once a month, probably. Just
yeah,
or once because it's like it's still Star Wars. Like it's not like I don't. Some of the decisions they made I don't personally like, but that's the director's job. That's not my job, and he should just he should just do what he needs to do. And if people don't like it, they don't like it. Like
I would say
it's
that
just a movie, really.
my Star Wars obsession probably peaked when I was about 15.
Yeah.
So I'm on the way down. I think I'm well, definitely way down now. I haven't even watched all of them yet.
Yeah.
So
It's good. Episode 9, I enjoyed episode 9. So I think you'd enjoy it. It's really
oh
good.
no, I will. I enjoyed 7 and 8. I really liked 7.
Yeah, 7 was good.
Yeah, I
7
thought
was good.
yes, it does look suspiciously like 4, but
Yeah.
it is verging on a reboot. But I quite like what's Oscar Isaac's character?
Poe Dameron.
I don't know, maybe
Poe Dameron, yeah. He's like the
he's
new Han Solo, basically. Well,
kind
they
of, but
tried to make him, tried to make
he's
him.
a really good actor.
Yeah, he's very good, yeah.
So I enjoy him. BB being the new R2D2 is all right. He's quite cool. BB-8, yeah.
Yeah, he's all right.
So yeah, no, it was all right.
Yeah,
too bad.
Yeah, need to get it involved there. So if I was to ask you quickly then before we finish, because I asked the same question to Grant, I said top 3 Star Wars characters. Would you be able to name of all genres? Grant's were so number 3 he said R2D2.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 he said Qui-Gon Jinn. Do you know Qui-Gon Jinn? He is in episode 1. Obi-Wan Kenobi is Ewan McGregor, right? It's his master. It's the because in the first one, Obi-Wan Kenobi is like a Padawan, right? So he's being trained by Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam Neeson, basically.
Yes, yeah.
And his number 1, any guesses?
I did watch it, so I know.
Oh, did you? Okay,
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt, yeah. I was like, oh, that's great. Number 1 character in the whole first 6, Jabba the Hutt.
Well, I quite like Jabba the Hutt. He's quite funny.
He's in it for literally. I mean, it's fine. I mean, your favourite character is your favourite character, isn't it? It's just an odd choice, I thought. But
well, a lot of people would say Boba Fett, wouldn't they? But Boba Fett's not really a
he's hardly in it at all. Character. Yeah, he's only
but yeah, he's like this cool kind of shadowy character that you obviously there's like a TV series about. Well, it's not him, is it? The TV series, it's like one of his ancestors.
Yeah.
But number 3, I guess I was going to do number 3 would be let's say I'm going to go with Oscar Isaac's character number 3.
Poe Dameron.
Poe Dameron. Yeah, I like him.
This is prequels and sequels and original.
I'm going with all of them. There's probably not going to be. I'm not going to go Jar Jar Binks. I'm not going to go one the prequels. No. Number 2.
No pressure. There's no wrong answer. Well, there is a couple of wrong answers actually.
I'm gonna say I quite like. I think because it's Alec Guinness. Alec Guinness is a legend. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Original Obi-Wan.
The original Obi-Wan. Yeah. I mean, I heard Grant also talk about the fact that he's like terrible at fighting, which is another reason why it's funny.
Yeah, but I mean,
he doesn't move very much. But it's
no, but
but back
nobody
then,
does
yeah,
in that
maybe
original. Even Luke Skywalker doesn't really. I mean, he does a few flips and stuff, but it's nothing compared to like the other ones action wise. But that's because these movies are dated, aren't they?
yeah, but also it's a cool character, and again, like the storytelling, and I think Obi-Wan's what really having Alec Guinness in that first movie with a load of unknowns, and he was kind of an established actor.
Yeah.
In the end of his career, I reckon that must have helped, and he definitely brings an extra.
Oh yeah, for sure,
to the
for
movie.
sure.
So, Obi-Wan, and then I think my favorite character is someone who's like was Lando Calrissian.
Okay, yeah, Lando Calrissian,
Because
Billy Dee Williams. Lando
yeah,
Calrissian.
because he's
not the other one, right?
no, not Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
Although
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. But that's like
he's actually really good as Lando Calrissian, like really convincing, like looked
Donald
and sounded like him. Amazing.
Well,
really good.
he is irritatingly talented, Donald Glover.
Yeah.
He's like a stand-up comedian, rapper, and actor.
Yeah, he was really good. He was probably like one of the things that made that movie. I would say it was difficult because the problem with that movie you had is that the guy who played Han Solo was under so much pressure, like because you're basically playing Han Solo, you're Harrison Ford. But I thought he did a really, really good job as well. What was his name? Can't remember. Oh God,
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But the original Lando Calrissian.
Yeah. Okay. He is
cool.
in episode 9 as well, Les. They bring him back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, he's cool. I mean, it also because he's quite imperfect. He's quite imperfect. With Han Solo, he's like obviously quite roguish, and so is Lando. But they're not perfect. They're flawed characters, but they've got like a. I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy him, and he's a cool actor as well. So
no, he's in episode 9. They bring him back.
More reason to watch.
Yeah, they bring him back. I mean, he's like, they've literally wheeled out everybody now. For those last 3 movies, there's nobody left really. They even brought back, what's his name? Wedge Antilles, who was like one of the original pilots in the first movie. One of those pilots you see. They brought back everyone.
That's all for those Star Wars geeks that love it.
Yeah, but like me, basically, I was like, oh my God. But I mean, everybody knew that Lando was in it because he's in the trailer.
I think I've seen that he's in the trailer. Actually,
it wasn't a surprise or anything. But yeah, he's in it. But he's
cool.
Like it's crazy because if you see him in real life, he can't. He's quite getting on quite a bit now, and he's you know. But yeah. All right. So, anything else you want to say before we finish up today?
I think that's it. That's it.
I'll wrap it up then.
Hopefully, your alcohol's gonna last if it's banned. So
yeah, well, it's the good thing about having sort of gin and tonic is like, I mean, I only need a couple really because it's quite strong. So you don't guzzle it down. We're not like beer, so I have a couple. It should last me quite a while. I think they're reopening again. I don't know, at the end of the month, 30th, I think.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be out of lockdown pretty soon. But I can't see it happening.
Let's go.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me.
That's all right.
I shall see you. I don't know. Maybe. I'll speak to you again pretty soon. Maybe you can come back. We need to think of something special that we can do. Maybe like a trivia thing, or maybe get a couple of people on to do some trivia. Like I could get some questions because I've got like a Trivial Pursuit set. So maybe I'll get like a couple of people on, do a bit of trivia, and I'll have to write the scores down. We won't use the board, but I'll have to write the scores down or something. Or if you give me a topic, maybe I might just make up a quiz and get like 3 people down, because we can add 3 or 4 people to the call or something. That'd be quite good. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, and I will see you again tomorrow morning for morning coffee. The morning coffee ramble. Get on that. All right. See you later.
Cool. See ya. Bye-bye.